She'll lie and steal and cheat and beg you from her knees, make you think she needs it this time. She'll tear a hole in you, the one you can't repair. But I still love her, I don't really care. When we were young, oh, we did enough. When it got cold, ooh, we bundled up. I can't be told, I can't be done. It's better to feel pain than nothing at all. The opposite of
That song is Stubborn Love by the Lumineers, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't used that yet in recording this podcast, but the Lumineers are from Ramsey, New Jersey. Little fun fact, my wife, Melissa, went to school with a couple of them at Ramsey High School, and her New Year's kiss was one of the dudes from the Lumineers. I don't think it was the lead singer, which I'm super lucky it wasn't, man, because that dude's like, he's like 6'2" and mad dashing and shit. He, like, looks like a modern day, like, cowboy, man, like, straight up. But anyways, that's an awesome song off their first album. And if you haven't picked that up, man, you definitely should. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mike D and the Sure Shot podcast. I am leaving CrossFit Caldwell right now on my way home to the family. Just did a killer workout. The date is Monday, April 22nd, 2019. And I took last week off from podcasting. I had some ideas and stuff, but Melissa and the kids and I went away. We went to Newport, Rhode Island, and it's the first vacation. It's just a mini vacation, but the first vacation that we've had since last year, before the kids came. We went down the shore to La Valette, and it was awesome. And then the kids were born, so we've been going at it 100% for 8 months now, you know. And it was nice to take a little bit of a break, you know. Admittedly, and my friends and my family know this for sure, I'm a little bit of a workaholic, and I have a hard time saying no to people. And I will always, like, I have a habit of sometimes taking on too much, much more than I can handle. And I can burn out a bit. You know, I'm not saying that I was burnt out, not by any means. But at the same time, towards the end, like as vacation was creeping up, as last week was creeping up, I could feel myself I was tired, you know? Like, I don't think my eyes were as sharp as they consistently have been in the past. And, there's nothing wrong with taking a break, and that's what I needed. So we went up to Newport on Wednesday. We were there for 2 nights. The kids had a great time. We had a great time. Newport, Rhode Island, if you guys don't know, man, it's a super fun, historic town. I'm a big-ass history nerd because I'm an art history major. And so a lot of history there, a lot of cool stuff to do for the family and for adults as well. The restaurant and bar scene is kicking. And a lot of families go up there as well to do, to see the sights, and it's an all-around fun town. If you guys haven't been there, I highly suggest it. And if you're looking for a romantic getaway, man, Newport, I'm telling you, Newport in the summer or in the fall, like September is the best because it's kind of the off season. It's not quite as crazy, but check that shit out. So we went there, and then we spent Easter with her family on Saturday, with my family on Sunday. And I did not step foot in CrossFit Caldwell the remainder of the week. I coached Monday and Tuesday, and then after that, I was like, all right, I'm not going to go to the gym just because I need a break. And, anyone listening to this, please don't get it twisted or anything. I love you guys. I love CrossFit Caldwell / CrossFit West Essex. I love what I do, but hey, man, like, everyone needs a break once in a while, and I got that, which is awesome. But came back today, hit a really great workout, And it just feels good to breathe and move and feel accomplished. Well, today I'm going to talk a little bit about how the fuck I ended up here as a strength and conditioning coach. And I had a notebook. It's in my backpack right now. I'm driving. I'm not going to be irresponsible and look at that notebook while I drive. That's a bad idea. I wrote down some thoughts, like a little timeline, if you will, to detail how I got to this point. But I will do my best. And admittedly, this might be a multi-part episode as to how did Mike D become a CrossFit coach, a strength and conditioning coach. Well, it really all starts back to when I was younger, man. When I was in when I was in grammar school, grade school, I was never an athletic person. I was never athletic, at least not outwardly. I was really into video games and shit. I was kind of a nerd, man, growing up. I was really into video games, really into reading. That was a big thing of mine, was reading. Loved reading, dude. Read all the time. But when it came to sports, I didn't get involved in sports until maybe 7th, 8th grade. I didn't do any real physical activity until I'd say 7th grade. A big part of that is honestly not having a dad. My dad passed away when I was super young, and my mom is awesome, man. She is I have no idea how she raised my sister and I all by herself, because it's tough, man. When my dad passed away, I was 4. My sister, I think, was 6 months old, and she raised the both of us from that young age, more or less alone. We had a great support system with my family and everything, but at the end of the day, it all came down to her. But my mom wasn't, she was working. She wasn't into sports. My dad was into sports. He was a huge Yankee fan. My dad would beat the shit out of me. We would definitely fight, get to fisticuffs, since I'm a Red Sox fan, for sure. But he was into sports, and I didn't really have that growing up. I was kind of a nerdy kid, I was super shy in grammar school, and it took a great group of friends. I talked about them in the last episode. Johnny Micchio, Rob Bland, Carmine DiNicola. Why am I brain farting now? That core group of friends. And then later when I got into high school, John Santora, JP Regent, Dustin Moniz, Gus the Bus, man. We all got into hockey. They got into hockey, and then they sucked me into it. We played roller hockey, street hockey. You have to keep in mind, man, this was the early to mid 90s, and all this shit was really big, and it was super fun. And also, when it came down to it, roller hockey was a lot cheaper than ice hockey as well. So we would play street hockey and shit, and they got me involved. They got me active. So if it wasn't for them, I would probably be a big gamer, fucking playing Super Nintendo and shit all day long. Not that there's anything wrong with video games, man. I love a good video game here and there, but dude, I would just in the summertime, in the middle of a beautiful day, I'd just be sitting on my ass, staring at the TV, fucking playing Super Mario World, trying to beat all 100 levels or some shit, If it wasn't for them, who knows what would have happened. So I think that's what really started my spark of, all right, dude, let's get up, let's get out, let's do some fun stuff. And if it wasn't for them, I don't think that I wouldn't be okay with losing. Let me explain that, guys, right? So when I would play video games, I would get super fucking pissed sometimes if I didn't beat a level, if I didn't get all the, stars or shit. If I didn't achieve perfection, I'd fucking get so pissed, and then I'd reset the game. I'd restart the game. Playing sports, my buddies exposing me to sports, exposed me to the fact that, dude, there's no fucking redos, man. If you say we're playing basketball, we play basketball too. Say we're playing basketball, and I was at the free throw line and I missed a shot. I didn't get a fucking redo. That's not the way that sports typically works. Nowadays, I guess you can say it kind of does with replay and all that, but let's just take that out of the equation. If it wasn't for them, I'd have even less patience than I do now, which would be really bad. So because of that exposure, when I was in high school, I tried out for the track team. My friend Carmine and I tried out for the track team, and he was like, dude, I was like, Carm, I don't want to fucking run, man. He's like, yo, we can throw stuff. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, we could throw this thing. It's called the shot put. And he showed me, I'm pretty sure we went online. And man, this is completely dating me. Anyone that's like 36, 37, 38, like my age, you guys remember dial-up modems and shit? Like, you know, like 56K. You had your modem connected to, this is so fucking lame, dude. You had it connected to the landline, right? And you would hear it connected, like all these weird ass noises. I'm pretty sure we connected to AOL, and he showed me, it wasn't a video, because you definitely couldn't watch videos at that point, but I think it was like a GIF or a GIF, however the fuck you pronounce it. Some dude throwing the shot put, and then another dude throwing the javelin. I was like, yo, that's fucking sick. I want to do that shit. So that was my exposure to that. And we tried out for the track team, and it was fun. It sucked. They made us run a bunch the first couple days, like first week really, to kind of weed people out. Our coach, Mr. Del Vecchio, was pretty smart, I guess. He was like, I still want people that are lazy. I want them to know that they have to work. So we ran a lot, actually, the first week. But then we also got to throw stuff and lift stuff. And I was like, man, this is fun as hell. Unfortunately, Mr. Del Vecchio left after our freshman year. And after that, we had some nice dudes coaching us, but no one really knowledgeable. So that caused Carmine and I to learn as much as we could on our own. And that was a huge spark. You know, that fostered, hey, this is fucking cool as hell. There's a lot more to sport than what people maybe perceive. You know, like when you watch basketball, football, baseball on TV, the athletes that you're seeing are undoubtedly gifted, right? Like there are real life superhumans out there, and you see them on the playing fields, right? But at the same time, I don't think people realize how much work goes into it. So getting into the shot put, disc, and javelin, learning about it and seeing all the little nuances, seeing what it took to actually be, you know, in my case, at least somewhat decent. I wasn't good at all, but I was somewhat decent at it, right? It made a big impact on me, and that affected me later on in life. So here's unathletic, nerdy Mike, right? He's throwing the shot put and shit. Throwing the javelin kinda, throwing the discus kinda, mainly concentrating on the shot put, because admittedly I don't have too much of a throwing arm. Learning. And that, like I said, opened up this like gateway in my mind. So high school's over, I get into college, I'm studying art history at Seton Hall University, which I loved. My Carmine contacted me. We were both living at home. I commuted to Seton Hall, and Carmine commuted to Rutgers. And one day he called me up and was like, yo, dude, EJ, Mr. Smith, he was the head coach of the track team. He was there even before us when we were in high school. EJ was there. He's like, yo, Smith called me up and he's like, look, I need help with the throwers because I don't know what I'm doing. You know, we have some good runners and I want to develop them. Would you and Mike want to come back and coach? And I'm a freshman in high school, freshman in college. This is the year 2000. It was the spring semester of my freshman year, so spring of 2000. I was like, yo, I'm down, dude. I didn't have a fucking job, you know? Actually, did I? I can't remember. I think I was working at the mall, but that probably ended shortly thereafter. Anyways, I was like, dude, let's go for it. Let's do it. And in the spring of 2000, I started coaching high school. You know, the shot, disc, and jav for Roseville Catholic High School. And it was a really awesome, and now that I look back at it, it was an awesome and also interesting experience, you know? Because at the time I was 19, and I'm coaching kids that are like 15, 16, 17, 18. You know, I mean, I'm a kid. I'm a kid coaching kids. So you had that aspect of it. I knew a lot of these kids, which is really fun. And also kind of a pain in the ass sometimes because, like, you know, especially when you're younger, if you feel like you have an in with whoever's in charge, you kind of feel like you can get away with shit from time to time. So that was a detriment from time to time. but really not much. Carmine and I were really blessed with our track teams, especially the first like 3-4 years. So yeah, man, like that was super interesting, you know, being a kid coaching kids. And then there was the dynamic of going to track meets and other coaches not really taking you seriously, and officials telling you to, hey, you don't belong here, like, you know, because they thought that we were like athletes. You know, those for coaches, like, hey man, we're coaches, you know. I built a thick skin back then, or you know what? No, I shouldn't even say thick skin, man. Like, I was pretty prickly back then, I'll admit, and a lot of it stems from insecurity. You know, like I hated being at the track meets and then like these fucking dudes not taking us seriously and just looking at us like we were a joke. And yeah, you know, our first maybe year, we were definitely a work in progress. I mean, without a doubt. But I didn't like it when people didn't take what I was doing seriously. And I still don't. You know, as a strength and conditioning coach, I take what I do seriously. I have a shit ton of fun with it. I'm not too serious, like some weirdo, but like, man, I enjoy my profession. I do a lot to get better at my profession. And I think that what I do is important. I really feel that what I do is helping people. And when I was a young kid, when I was like 19 fucking years old, coaching, you know, the track team for Roseville Catholic, felt the same way. I was like, hey man, like I take this seriously. Now back then, did I take it too seriously? Maybe. Admittedly, I probably did, right? I had something to prove, man. I had something to prove. And you know, I did and I didn't. I did in the fact that I wanted to show people that I belonged. I wanted to show these other coaches that, fuck you, man. You know, I belong here. I'm putting in a lot of work. Most importantly, these kids are putting in a lot of work. We belong here. But at the same time, was I like maybe a little too brash? Yeah, for sure. You know, these are the things that you learn as you get older. I mean, I was a brash 19-year-old kid. I really was. But I will say this. Like I said earlier, Carmine and I were blessed with having really, really, like, good kids. And I'm not just talking athletically, man. I'm talking, like, good people. Especially our first, I'd say, like, 5, 6 years. There's really, like, no bad teams. From year 1 to year 10, man. We were super lucky with everybody. But we were very lucky the first like 5 years, I'd say, because the kids that we had were good leaders in their own right. And looking back at it now, there are some things that I wish I'd done differently to mold those leaders. As coaches, as teachers, whether we realize it or not, we're responsible for molding someone's attitude and actions, right? And sometimes when you're a young kid, you know, when you're inexperienced, you have a sense of bravado about you. You need that sometimes, man. Like, if you're a coach, once in a while, you have to have some of that bravado, that fire, that passion, to fire your athletes up. But at the same time, you have to know when to turn it on and off. You have to know how to be a multi-nuanced coach. And I think if I could do it all over again, I would do some things to make sure that the kids that I was molding were molded 100% in the right way. Now, I still think about that as an adult, as a 38-year-old now, when I'm coaching other adults, and especially when I'm coaching the younger kids, the CrossFit teens class. What we do, what we say, how we act, what we don't say, what we don't do, those things can have a profound impact on somebody. And it doesn't matter if you're a coach or a teacher. You might be a supervisor at work. You might be someone that, you're probably someone that somebody looks up to without even realizing it. And you have this power in your hands to either reinforce and build them up or to chop them down piece by piece. And I'd like to think that now at 38, I can help build people up piece by piece. I'm not perfect. I'm not. You know, like I'm replaying right now a couple things in my head where I'm like, shit, I could have done that better. You know? So I'm not perfect by any means. But at the same time, if we keep that in mind, whether we are a teacher, a coach, if we work at if we're an accountant, I don't fucking know. Like, whatever you do, keep in mind that someone is probably looking up to you. And it only takes one thing to either make or break that person's day, you know? So anyway, sorry, I looped around a little bit. But yeah, man, coaching high school track and field, I did that for 10 years. I did that from 2000 to 2010. And it was during that time frame that my love for physical fitness and my curiosity for strength and conditioning really, really peaked. Like I said, when I was younger, I'm not a naturally gifted, naturally athletic person. When I discovered the weight room, the gym, the barbell, the dumbbells, I fell in love with that feeling. I fell in love with the feeling of getting stronger. I had, my first gym was this like piece of shit hardcore gym in Linden, New Jersey. It had the lamest name. It was called Guys and Dolls. Now it's called Paragon. But when it was Guys and Dolls, but don't let the name fool you, man. There were some legit beasts in that gym. Like, dude, I'm talking hardcore bodybuilders and powerlifters. Dudes that, and it was all dudes. Like, it was all, there was one chick that went there. I remember one chick, and she came in the summertime, and she was like super hot, like really hot, and super nice, and I was super shy, and I always got nervous around her. I was like a dummy. But other than that, it was all dudes. And it was scary ass guys, man. Like, I mean, these were dudes that were like fucking squatting for reps, like 400, benching 315 for reps easy, pulling like, 455 for fucking, or 450 to 500 pounds for the deadlift. Like, there were beasts there, dude. But it was so cool because it was a tight-knit community. It really was a tight-knit community. And these dudes took me under their wing. And it was fucking awesome, man. So they exposed me to the iron, and I fell in love with it. And that's when my mindset started to change. I was like, all right, I loved art history. I love studying it. I really do. But then as I got closer and closer to finishing, I was like, I don't know if I want to work in a museum, I don't know if I want to be a teacher. In fact, I feel that coaching taught me that I should not teach. If being one of the coaches of the track team meant that I had a good amount of control. So if there's a kid and he was kind of a shithead, then I could cut him from the team. I'd be honest, like, hey, dude, this isn't working out. I think it'd be best for the both of us if maybe if you didn't throw, maybe you do something else. Maybe you fucking jump or you run or you just not be on this team, right? Like, I could cut a kid. But as a teacher, I couldn't do that. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm going to deal with this dude, So that taught me, I was like, I don't know if I can be a teacher. Now, here's the irony, everybody. Like, as a strength and conditioning coach now in the private sector, I can't do that still, right? Like, if there's an athlete, a member, and I'm like, ooh, this guy's kind of a jerk, I, for better or worse, have to deal with that person, So once again, it's kind of interesting how things pan out. You know what I mean? But anyways, back then I was like, you know what? I think I want to get into fitness. I think I want to be a personal trainer. And I had this like idealized goal in idealized like vision in my head. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a personal trainer. I am going to get a shit ton of clients. I'm going to train all day and get fucking huge. And I'm also going to train people and make a shit ton of money. I'm going to drive a fancy ass car. And that's what I'm going to do for my life. And oh, you know what? Ultimately, I'm going to open a gym. That's what I'm going to do. So I was going to the Gold's Gym in Cranford, where I lived at the time. Guys and Dolls shut down under shady circumstances. You know, I think I'll talk more about the Iron, about Guys and Dolls in a future episode, because there's a shit ton of stories I got to tell you guys. But anyways, I was at Gold's Gym in Cranford lifting, and I went to the owners, and I was like, "Hey, I wanna work here." And oh no, I take that back. Gold's Gym it became defunct, and it became Fit for Life. At this point, it was Fit for Life Fitness Center in Cranford. It was still Gold, just a fucking different name, different owners. I was like, I wanna be here. I want to be a trainer. So that's what I did. I started out just like working like front desk and shit, and then I became a personal trainer, and ultimately I became the personal trainer like manager guy. And I was super unhappy. And let me explain why. Number one, money is super important. Yes, I need money. You need money. We all need money. That is 100% a fact, dude. Like, my life would be a lot less stressful if I had more money. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Boiler Room, right? If you haven't, you should see it, man. It's almost like it's the Wolf of Wall Street before the Wolf of Wall Street. Watch Boiler Room. Ben Affleck is in the movie, and he plays this ruthless character. He's fucking awesome. And one of the lines he says in front of these trainees that want to be stockbrokers and be rich is, whoever says that money can't buy happiness doesn't fucking have any. Look at the smile on my face, baby. Ear to ear, right? So money is super important. But at the same time, man, I want to be able to enjoy that money, right? And I don't know. The environment at Fit for Life wasn't what I thought it would be. It wasn't an environment of like wanting to work hard and I don't know, like better yourself, which is ironic, right? My bosses were all about the bottom line, all about the numbers, which fucking makes sense, man. Like, you know, they're the money behind the thing. So I get that. I get it. But from a clientele perspective, it was a really interesting environment, man. I think when you go into personal training, you have this, you see the ads in like muscular development, muscle and fitness. What's the other one? What's the other fucking magazine? Anyways, like all the muscle mags, and you see these pictures of like personal trainers working with these like fucking in shape people. If you're a personal trainer, you'll probably will not work with in shape people because they are already in shape, man. You know, not that I have an issue working with someone that is untrained or detrained, not at all. Don't get it twisted, kid. But what I do have an issue with is I can't work with someone that is not motivated. And unfortunately, most of my clients were not motivated. I say most because there are exceptions. Sue Watson, right? If you're listening, Sue was super, super motivated. Lisa Bound, super, super motivated, right? But apart from that, it was really hard, you know? So here I am again. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want to teach. I want to do this. This is my meal ticket. This is what I want to do. This is going to make me happy. This is going to provide a living for me and my future family. And then I get there and I'm like, this is not what I want to do. Now what? Now what the fuck do I do? I'm in this Globo gym, right? No one wants to work hard. My bosses don't really get it. Like, they're not actually into fitness. They're just money guys. So they don't actually know what the hell's going on in the world of fitness, in the world of strength and conditioning. Now what? I'll tell you what. The movie 300 came out. And if you have never seen the movie 300, you should watch it. Dudes, it's like, I just watched 300, guys. Any men listening, just fucking watch it if you haven't watched it already. If you have watched it, watch it again. All right? Just do it. Ladies, you should do it too, man. There's like a lot of like ripped, in shape dudes. You will not regret it. You'll be super happy. The movie 300 came out, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. These guys are like real life sculptures by Michelangelo come to life. This is amazing. And being a personal trainer, being a strength and conditioning coach, I looked up what they were doing, and they were doing CrossFit. They were doing it at a gym called Jim Jones, Gymjones, and I fell head first. I was like, yo, this is sick. What I really liked about at least the old Jim Jones website was it was super bare bones. Mark Twight, the founder of Jim Jones, was like doing all the blog posts and shit at the time. And he's a writer. He's a mountaineer and a writer. And it was just this like raw, gritty style of writing. I loved the look of the gym, man. It was like, once again, raw and gritty. It was the complete opposite of the Globo gym. It was super simple and bare bones. And to me, it was like, man, this is great. Like, they have what they need and no more than that. So I started fiddling around with some of their workouts. I didn't know the basis behind it, really. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like fucking doing these workouts, and then like I would try to make my own CrossFit workouts that were way too hard. I gotta find my notebooks, man. I gotta find my notebooks and fucking take some pictures of the shit that I did. But it was like super ridiculous stuff that I couldn't do, you know, that I shouldn't have been doing. Did it anyway. So I was like dabbling in and out with CrossFit for X amount of time. And I was still bodybuilding. I trained like a bodybuilder. Like I said, I fell in love with the iron. So I was doing that as well. And I was also cycling. What can I say, dude? I'm a Renaissance man. I bought a road bike. I was cycling all the time. You know, I fell in love with endurance. I'm fucking crazy. What can I say? So let's fast forward a bit. I think 300 came out in 2005. In 2008, a friend of mine, Jeff Thorne. Jeff is in the military now. I believe, I'm not sure. I think he went Special Forces for the Army Special Forces. Jeff at the time was training for the SEALs. He wanted to be a SEAL. And he was doing CrossFit. I knew he was doing CrossFit because I was watching what he was doing. I was like, he's fucking doing CrossFit. And, you know, I told him, I was like, yo, it's sick what you're doing. It's so awesome, this and that. You know, I was still training like a dude. At the time, I was gigantic. I weighed, at this point, I weighed probably 212 pounds, 210 pounds. I'm 5'7", and I was way too big, way too big. I was massive. And I was strong. Yay for being strong. But at the same time, I was like, man, something's missing. I need something different. So I go to Jeff one day. I'm like, Jeff, I want to get into CrossFit. I don't know what I should do. What should I do, man? Give me a workout. And Jeff goes, all right, dude, do this. As many rounds as possible in 20 minutes. 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats. And I was like, oh, sick. Yeah, that sounds good. I was like, how much weight on the squat? I'm thinking, I'll say like, 95 pounds or maybe $135, nothing crazy. He's like, oh, dude, just your body weight. Just no weight, just yourself. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, all right. I'm going to get like 22 rounds. This would be great. At the time I could bang out strict pull-ups, bang out a shit ton of strict pull-ups. My push-ups were easy. And I was like, air squats, like, what's that? That's nothing. So I'm like, all right, let's go. Ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Start the timer. Boom, 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 boom. Dude, I got 6 rounds. I think I got like 6 rounds and 6 reps or some shit. I got smoked. I got destroyed. I felt dead, And here I am. I'm in shape, like physically. You look at me and I was like, I was in good shape, man. Like I was. I'm not being a dick. I'm not being cocky. I was in good fucking shape. But I was a DMO. I was a DMO. I was a display model only, right? I was all show and no go. I had no go. And that did two things. Number one, it humbled me, right? Number one, it humbled me. Showed me like, yo, dude, you got some holes in your fitness that you got to fix. And then number two, it made me hungry. I was like, I've never felt like this before. That sounds weird, but it's true. I never felt like that before. From a workout, nonetheless. I need to explore this. I need to get into this. And from that day on, I was hooked. I was hooked into CrossFit after getting smashed by a body weight workout. Destroyed by a body weight workout. And from that point on, man, I was, at this point, you have to realize this is October of 2008, and everyone was just following main site, CrossFit.com. CrossFit.com looked a lot different than it did today. And people would wake up and, look at the .com workout and do that every day. And I followed it. And I was really strict about it. And I believed in what they were saying about minimum effective dose. I think that's a concept that goes overlooked with a lot of people nowadays, especially CrossFitters. Minimum effective dose. What that means is treat your workouts, treat your exercise like medication, right? Like if you had the flu, if you had some sort of virus, some sort of cold, right? And your doctor was like, hey, look, here's an antibiotic. I need you to take this antibiotic once a day for 10 days. Take the minimum effective dose, right? Spread that shit out. You wouldn't be like, fuck you, doc, and take the whole bottle and down it right in front of him, right? It's probably a bad idea. Well, it's the same thing with exercise, man. Like, I know that sometimes we want to do all the workouts right now, right? And then you wake up and you're broken. You're broken. I've been there, man. Like, exercise is addictive, dude. The feeling that you get is addictive. But I think if we take a step back and adhere to the minimum effective dose prescription, I think we'd all be all right, Anyways, I got hooked into CrossFit, and I was following .com, and then, one day, Jeff was like, dude, why don't you get your level 1 certification? And I was like, oh, I don't know, man. He's like, dude, you coach track and field. This is 2008. Actually, it's probably 2009 now. 2009, yeah. Like, he was like, you should get your level 1 and you should coach CrossFit. And he was like, dude, maybe the guys here at the gym, the owners of Fit for Life, maybe they'd let you, start a CrossFit affiliate here. It was a huge gym, and there was a lot of space that was not being used properly. And I was like, shit, he's got a great point. So I went on the .com, on CrossFit.com, and I was like, all right, level 1 certs. Looked it up. There was a level 1 cert slated for March of 2009 at Gorilla Fitness in Montclair, New Jersey. It was $1,000, and I was like, fuck it. Bam. And I put down that $1,000. And in March of 2009, I attended my first level 1. And it was mind-blowing in all the best ways possible. Mind-blowing. First of all, let me give you the lineup of trainers that were there. It was a virtual, like murderer's row of knowledge. It was awesome. You had Chuck Carswell. If you don't know Chuck, he's level 1 billion. They're all like level 1 million trainers now, right? Like they're legit. Chuck Carswell, he's one of the head judges at the CrossFit Regionals and Games. Hell of an athlete. He was in the NFL for a short period of time. I think he was with the Dolphins. And then after that petered out, he got into fitness, discovered CrossFit, and he was there. Pat Sherwood that you see on the, used to be, the games updates on, CrossFit.com. Pat Sherwood, former Navy SEAL, bad motherfucker, really cool dude, really smart trainer. He was there. Todd Widman, former head of CrossFit Kids. I don't think he's ahead of it now, but I believe he is a veteran as well. Super smart, knowledgeable, personable coach. He was there. John Gilson. John Gilson is the founder of Again Faster, right? And yeah, Rogue Fitness has overtaken Again Faster. Admittedly, man, I'm sure John would say the same thing in terms of equipment, but I'll tell you what, I got my fair share of equipment from Again Faster, and I have no complaints about it. John Gilson was there. E.C. Sinkowski, who now does a lot of nutrition stuff. She's a fantastic trainer, and she was there too. I feel like I'm forgetting like maybe one or two other people, man. It was this amazing group of coaches, and let's talk about the people there, man. Everyone was super, at the time, you have to look at it like Fight Club. CrossFit was almost like Fight Club, right? It was like this like really kind of unknown thing that people would talk about, but they didn't really know what the fuck you were talking about if you had mentioned CrossFit. So it had this mystique about it, right? And so the people there had this common bond. We truly were a like-minded group of people. And the environment and the atmosphere was like super infectious in terms of, hey, let's work together, let's get better, and let's do this. So that was my first level 1 experience, and it was fantastic. I got through the weekend, and I was like, wow, like I felt super refreshed, super awakened, and ready to go. And I was like, fuck it, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. No doubt about it. Let's fucking go. So I had this plan. I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring it to the bosses, and I'm going to say, okay, I think that we should establish a little CrossFit space and blah, 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 blah. That's what I did. I sat down with Tony and Antonio. I was like, hey, look, I just got my CrossFit level 1 cert, right? And, I really believe in CrossFit. I really believe in the philosophy. I think that if you give me a little bit of space and let me establish an affiliate here, I'll pay for the fee. The fee at the time to establish your affiliate, I think it was like $500. It's fucking crazy. I believe it's like $5,000 now. But anyways, I was like, dude, I'll pay for the affiliate because I wanted that shit in my name. I just need the space. What do you guys think? And they're like, oh, you know what? We think it's great that you did this. We can tell that you're super energized and blah, 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 blah. That's great. But, I don't think we can afford to cut down the space. And we don't think that CrossFit is going to we don't think it's going to be financially sustainable or, financially worth it. In other words, they didn't think that CrossFit would make any money. And I will leave this episode at that, ladies and gentlemen. I got to go for now. I just pulled up to the house. Got to get inside and see the family. But this is to be continued. Peace.